Hey everyone! Welcome back! I am back today with more Oshi no Ko, you guys. Last time was so good. They completely turned the tables on me last time, and I don't know how to feel about it. Because, like, there's so much. There's so much to get into before I get started on my rant. I do just want to say, if you're joining me early today, you know just what that means. It means you are one of my awesome patrons. Thank you so very much. And as always, I am sending up those big old hugs right through that screen. And if not, still, thank you for joining me today. I'm glad you're here. I do hope you'll consider supporting me that way. The link to my Patreon is going to be in that description down below. And if you're joining me on those YouTubes, I really hope you'll hit like, also subscribe for me. That does help me and my channel a whole lot. So thank you in advance for that. Yeah, guys, so I was so conflicted last time because I went in fully ready, just be like 1,000% on the side of this author. I can't remember their name, but it will be mentioned during the episode, so don't worry. But yeah, I was just like so ready, so ready. And I gotta tell you, as with most things, they showed me that it's actually a whole lot more complicated than I originally thought. I got into this a little bit last time, but you know, kind of growing up in America and seeing like Hollywood and Hollywood adaptations and everything, I think I was very used to the idea that like, okay, any kind of adaptation, like obviously there's some very well done adaptations, like they're not all bad or anything, or they're not, at least some of them are enjoyable, even if, you know, you feel compared to the source material, whatever. Anyway, I'm kind of used to this idea of like the soulless studio coming in and like just totally mangling a franchise or whatever like that, you know, and it does happen, quite honestly. Like, it does happen quite often, actually. So, like, I was, like, ready and so poised to be like, oh my god, we got the creator up in here, and especially after seeing Akane, like, really having, like, some issues with the script and kind of being given more or less the crap end of the stick with a character who was so drastically changed, and them kind of telling her, like, sorry, but like there's not a whole lot we could do, you know, to have the creator come in and be like, okay, change it. You're like, oh, or at least I was like rooting, like, oh my god, yes. And what actually ended up happening was so much more nuanced that I really was left with a lot of feelings about it, because what we end up seeing is like, yes, there were changes that needed to be made. The scriptwriter really did care about the material and tried to immerse himself in the material and tried to do his best. But the problem was the communication was completely broken down. Like, the system totally failed in this instance. I mean, you can try to play the blame game, but at the end of the day, I don't think there's anyone to significantly blame in this. Like, I definitely still don't blame the author, although I did feel like, oof, harsh when, like, she was really giving him the business and everything. I'm like, okay, maybe we could have been a little bit softer about it than that. But then when you look at her perspective of, like, okay, she's been trying to get this across for how long, only to have it come out worse every single time. Like, you could see her frustration, absolutely. Like, you can absolutely understand that. But then you feel bad for the scriptwriter, too, because, like, he was really trying, and he did the best with what he had. Now, the issue is the 3 or 4 people in between, you know, the game of telephone. It just got changed and changed. I guess you could blame them. Even them, you could say, like, it wasn't even really one individual person. It was kind of like the cumulative effect of everything that each person did, that really kind of muddled that message, the original message from the author. And you could even argue that the author, perhaps, while very talented in her own right, and very good at expressing certain things in her medium, how well did we get this across in the first place? You know what I mean? Like, so there's no one to blame. There's no one to, it was a total breakdown of the system. It really failed fantastically in this particular instance. And like, what can you do about it? One thing I am very curious about now, and you guys are bringing it up in the comments as well, is that, you know, we know that, I can't remember what the author's name is, but they'll say it again. We know that, like, this person doesn't really have a lot of experience writing a screenplay. I think, you know, it's interesting to me, they emphasize a few times that, like, she didn't even know what rehearsal was called, you know? So just kind of emphasize that, like, okay, we're really out of our element here. We're truly out of our element. You know, how is that going to go? Because a screenplay is a lot different than a manga. Totally different medium. So yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen. It sounds like Akane and Aqua are going on a little date to do some, like, kind of like a study buddy date. We're going to kind of like fill him in on the little bit of some of the lingo and some of the world building here of the play world. And we know Kana was just as to be expected. Her reaction was as to be expected regarding that. That's all I'll say. So yeah, guys, I'm really excited to see where they're going with this. They definitely kind of like took me by surprise last time with the kind of stuff that they did. So without further ado, what do you say we go ahead and we jump right into the next episode of Oshi no Ko. Let's do this. Oh, here we go. Playboy? Is this a different Playboy? This must be a different Playboy, obviously. Oh, I see. Oh. That's kind of bragging, yeah. Busted. Oh. Ooh, Smash Heaven. Oh, okay. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Is it a musical? Please tell me it's a musical. Oh, it's an immersive experience. Oh, you're being transported to another land? It is. It's like a sports anime, but it's like, is this an adaptation of a sports anime or is it just a story? Yes. What? Holy cow! Yeah, it's also the content is good. She's like, yeah, my work here is done. It's tough with a personality like that because sometimes all I get is like, it's good. It's fine. You know what I mean? What are you doing here? Oh, we're doing a little bit of, yeah, a little bit of research maybe? Yeah, they're just kind of like, Aww. Oh boy. Yeah, it kind of seems that way. Yeah. That's not gonna, I don't know about that. Yeah, they're two totally different things. Really? He really does know what he's doing. Oh, poor girl. No. Yeah, no, the publisher holds a lot of the cards here. That's interesting. Oh. Yeah. Get them in a room. Get them in a gosh darn room. The problem is she's demanding. Oh, are you gonna work some of your Aqua manipulative magic here? This is where the magic happens. Oh, no love for this one. Oh. Oh, we're not gonna win her over. We're not going to win her over easily. They're very young. They're very young. Yeah. I mean, I can see how it could become that way. That's nice. Yeah, it's a little bit busier schedule. It seems like it would be oh my goodness. That seems like it would be very, very difficult. I do not envy mangakas doing that. We work together. Yeah, seems like we know each other pretty well. Yeah, she has her passion. Oh, you can kind of read them in a way. The drawings, okay. Oh. Yeah, see if you find someone you can actually relate to then. That's awesome. Oh. I see. Maybe that kind of like elevation to stardom so quickly. Okay. Probably editing, but also like managing the author. Okay. Oh, making sure it keeps going. So then they have to keep the talent happy. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's not too dissimilar to what happened to her, and she was worse off for it. We have a lot of feelings. Because, I mean, she took off, like, she said she surpassed her so quickly. Oh. See, the thing is, she's gonna look at that as an example of how it goes when you're not involved enough. That's, ouch, that's kind of harsh, though. Wow. Whoa. You've got to, she's like, you've got to believe in yourself and fight for it. I see. And she's so excited, but that's, yeah. The thing is, like, even if you're happy, like, that still does something, you know? Aww. She feels a bond to her. Yeah, she's like, I gotta be good to her no matter how I feel personally about, like, how, like, a comparison. Oh. Oh, all mangakas probably feel that way. One more thing. We had something up our sleeve. Are we, like, dying under the stress? Oh, are we not doing super well under all the stress? Huh? See, I feel like maybe, like, we can't work with others very easily. So we fired our assistants. No. That's not enough. That's going to affect your work. Okay, no wonder we're, like, super cranky and temperamental. Yeah. Your work is gonna suffer. Ooh. That's how I feel like all the time, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, we've worked together before. It is different though. Yeah, I mean, it's gorgeous, but no, I see. You know what? I appreciate that your standards are so high, but I think maybe this is like the other end of the extreme here. Ooh, your work is going to suffer because you're not willing to do this. Oh! 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 Whoa! Oh! Oh! We're having a mangaka fight! Woo! Let's go! Oh! Oh! You know what? I feel like we need to get this out. I feel like we need to get this out. I feel like we'll get this out. We'll be better off for it. I mean, it does sound like we kind of, remember, we like left that one ship to die, basically. Oh no! Oh no! We're getting, you know what? We're getting it out though. We're getting it out. We're getting it out. Ooh, wait, you know what? We came to, yeah, we came to get this straightened out. Now we're getting somewhere. Oh my god, I feel like that all the time. I can relate to that so much. Because it's, yeah, we have a little bit more padding on the timing now. Yeah, see, the thing is, you were pushed to your limit. You gotta compromise. You gotta compromise, yeah. Yeah, you can't do it all yourself. You've got to work with people. Well, I guess maybe there were some liberties taken with that. Yeah. And, you know, they probably made an impression on her. It's like, look what they did, you know? Oh, and that's why she's like, I'm better off just trying to take it all on myself, not trusting anybody. Oh my god. We had such a breakthrough today. Oh, yeah, she could have not taken the risk, but she did. She did. Oh. That's what he did. Oh my god, Aqua, you are a genius. You are a genius because oh my god. Because trying to get to her directly, you're going to be met with a lot of just like, all she's going to hear is one thing. But if you tell her, just go and just experience this and just really be immersed. She is a smart person. She will see right away, oh my god, this is such a completely different medium. And it could not be more different. I could not be less prepared for this. That was really smart. Oh my god, guys, that was really, really good. I enjoyed that so much. Talk about, like, they're just completely, they have my expectations all over the place, like, in this season. Because last episode, I was totally in the, oh my god, it got really dark. Did anyone notice that? That it got really dark? Well, I'm looking around, it's like night. What happened? I thought I heard some thunder at one point, and I was like, is that thunder? Is that like Buffy coming up the stairs? I can't tell. Anyway, they got my expectations all over the place here, you guys, because last episode I was so in the, just like the camp of the screenwriter of Goa, who, like, you know, and I mean, I was right when I said this is real. The blame, you really can't directly put the blame on anyone. Because now I feel even more for Abiko. And I feel even more for what she's going through, because now we know that in the midst of total communication breakdown, trying to get the same point across multiple times and having your work completely, like all of your suggestions, your recommendations, like completely like go in the opposite direction of, time and time again. On top of that, you also are not sleeping, you're overworking, you're behind, like you're literally in the worst headspace you possibly could be. Now, I think if there's anything that we learned from this episode, it's about extremes. Because, I mean, I guess you could say that maybe, God, what's her name? The one who did Sweet Today. I'm so bad with names. I'm so sorry. Now I got the one girl's name. Now I'm going to lose the other one. But so our senpai author, our older mentor author of Sweet Today, you know, you could argue maybe she was a little too passive in her handling of that. Like maybe she should have stepped in more. But at the end of the day, I think whenever you have an adaptation, whenever you hand your work off to somebody else, you always run that risk of like, it's not going to be done the way that you wanted it to be done. And I think maybe she took a calculated risk in still going ahead with it, because it was still like, it's still an opportunity. It's still an experience. It's still something. Even if it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, you know, the alternative would be maybe just something not getting made at all, or, you know, just holding up production forever, you know, like, and she didn't want that. She was willing to kind of like compromise and like sacrifice some of her wants, needs in that case, to see that it happened. And it is a shame that it didn't turn out well. It was a really good example of like what can happen when you just get like, the studio came in and just had all of their own agendas with it. Like had actors that they wanted to put in that had nothing to do with making the story good, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, Abiko would look at that and be like, there is no way I'm letting that happen to my baby. But then we see the other extreme. It takes too long to try and work with people. It's never going to be like you cloned yourself, and you know, it's somebody's always going to bring like their own, even if you're trying to precisely copy a certain style in every single way, no two people are exactly alike. And you're always going to have a little bit of variation. And if you really just cannot deal with that, then yeah, you're going to end up in a situation where like you're trying to do it all by yourself, but you literally cannot do it all by yourself and not like collapse and die. So now they know that Abiko was going through that as well. And now I feel even more for her, because yeah, of course you're going to snap. Of course you're going to be, you know, immature, childish about it. I mean, I think this person is actually very young and maybe has like an actual physical reason to be somewhat on the immature side. But, you know, even beyond that, when you're just in the worst headspace of your life, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if this is true, and I don't know if maybe they said something to this extent, but maybe like the trade-off for the Sweet Today author was like, okay, if you do something like this and you kind of keep in the mainstream and everything, it gives you a little bit more leniency, or maybe it's just, I don't even know if it's leniency, but maybe it just gives you a little bit more to go on in saying like, okay, like I want to be able to go monthly with my publication. I don't know, maybe I think it was already monthly. I have no idea. But you know what I mean? Like maybe there was a trade-off there. Maybe there was a trade-off of like, this is still in popular media. It's on people's minds. It's a little bit in the mainstream, even if it wasn't a great adaptation. How does that still kind of benefit the overall product, the overall franchise, maybe a way that like will ultimately be good for the author or her assistants, you know, and their workload. I literally have no idea if that is a thing, but it's just like, it's speculation on my part. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's that compromise. It's that like give and take. And yeah, it's like it's so funny because when they were talking about like editors, and like how they like have to babysit their authors and creators and everything. The first thing I thought of was how we're watching the live action Rohan show on my channel. I was like, oh my god. I think it's really interesting to watch stuff about mangakas. I think it's a very interesting process, and it's something that I already love and enjoy, so it's like literally just taking a look at the behind the scenes. So like all of this, it's really doing it for me. But anyway, yeah, so wow guys, we got down and dirty though. Like we got down and dirty. Like we're talking about like oh yeah, well my story is better than yours. You pandered to your fans, and they did mention that like was it Saya, Princess Saya, the one that Akane is playing, is kind of like an example of a like a failed love interest, because everyone liked this one person, so they went with that instead. And I can think of a few instances of shows I watch where that happened. So sometimes for the better, sometimes, I mean, it depends on who you ship, you know, but like, oh yeah, it is. It's raining outside. Wow. The weather just like totally turned. I had no idea. I was just like in my little bubble here with no idea what was going on. Wow. So anyway, I know I could just rant on about this all day. I love last season because I loved Ai's story, and I loved getting to see them just kind of adjust to I love just the stuff that they were showing about the entertainment industry. But the fact that this season in particular, they are dealing with content that I'm already really invested in. You know what I mean? Like manga, anime, live action adaptations of those aforementioned two things. I mean, I feel very, very invested in this. I feel very, very engaged in this. And I will just close by saying that Aqua is a genius, because if you tried to, I mean, I think what the one author did was actually very effective, because I think at some point you have to, if you're dealing with somebody who has never hit a lot of obstacles with their work and had to sort of compromise a little bit, had to like kind of go that extra mile, like is not getting every view and every, you know, sale right away and everything, maybe you have to get a little tough with that. Maybe you almost have to use a little bit of tough love. And that did work. But what Aqua's doing is so genius as well, because you can tell her until she's blue in the face. Until you're blue in the face, I guess. I totally used that wrong. You could just go on and on about how like what you're doing is wrong, you're not going to be able to do it, blah, 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 blah. But I feel like Abiko is also very intelligent, and if we put this experience that won Aqua over, and Aqua's like, let me tell you, I know that type. I know Aqua's type, and if they're won over by something, that's like a freaking miracle. That's like it's not like me where like, you know, you could show me like somebody blowing bubbles and I'm like, woo, you know, like I'm just very easily entertained, you know, like, I mean, if Aqua was impressed by that, I know Abiko will go in, and I know she will see that for everything that it is, and know that maybe she jumped the gun a little bit between that and just being overworked and not sleeping, blah, blah, blah. Wow, God, I freaking love this show. Like I said, I don't know, there's something about this season that is like getting me even more than last season, and that's really saying something, because I thought last season was a masterpiece, and I think all of you agree with me, and I think most of the world who watched it would agree with me in that, because it was like the most popular show ever for like a long time. So all right guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. It like the heavens opened, and I could just see like power flickering and thunder happening. If I lose this reaction, I will Hulk out, and I will just Hulk smash this world. So, all right. Thank you so much for watching along with me. It's a weird place to end it, but okay. I hope you enjoyed watching along with me. Please be sure to join me next time as we see what else they're going to throw at us this time that's going to like send me off into a giant rant. And we will watch it together. Bye for now, guys.